my truck. The government is walking away from a lot of people. They just don't care about the homeless anymore.
Beneath Arizona's postcard skies and desert gold lies a truth no travel ad dares mention. It's 2025, and while visitors chase sunsets, over 14,000 people are chasing survival beneath the same skyline. Families sleep in cars, kids study by flashlight. The dream that built this state, it's cracking wide open. This isn't poverty, it's collapse, quiet and spreading. How did the Grand Canyon state become ground zero for America's forgotten? And why is no one sounding the alarm? Stay with us, because once you see what's happening under Arizona's glittering glow, you'll never look at this place the same way again. Maricopa County stretches wide across the desert, proud and gleaming. Phoenix rising, resorts glittering, and suburbs wrapped in perfect lawns. But beneath that shine, something is breaking. A quiet storm is rolling through the streets, one that no one planned for and too few are willing to see. More than 7,000 people here have no home. Yet even that number can't capture the full truth. Because the real story hides in the shadows. The mother parked outside a Walgreens, rocking her child to sleep in the front seat of an SUV. The teenager slipping a backpack into a friend's garage before school, pretending everything's normal. The veteran curled behind a dumpster less than a mile from the VA hospital, too proud to ask for help one more time. They don't appear in city briefings or morning headlines, but they're there, woven into the edges of Phoenix, Mesa, Tucson, quietly surviving between concrete and cactus. Along the trails of Papago Park, tents ripple against the wind, plastic tarps tied to cactus spines. Strollers rest beside shopping carts, sleeping bags bake in the desert sun. And just across the trail, glass towers rise, condos worth millions glinting like mirages above the dust. A man walking past mutters about trash, frustration in his voice, unaware he's standing at the fault line of two worlds. Because this isn't just about poverty anymore. It's about distance, division. There's the Arizona that polishes its skyline with rooftop pools and brunch menus. And there's the Arizona that fights for shade, for water, for a reason to keep going. The gap between them isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in dignity. So the question lingers, heavy as heat. How did the desert once called a refuge become a battlefield for survival? And what happens when the mirage of prosperity fades and we're all forced to see what's been hiding in plain sight? Maria never thought her life would shrink to the size of a tent. She clocks in early, stays late, and still, each night, the Phoenix wind rattles the thin fabric she calls home. Just a few feet away, cars thunder past on the freeway, their headlights flashing through the nylon walls. Inside, her two kids sleep side by side, their school backpacks tucked close like treasures. Every morning, they rise with the sun, brush the dust from their shoes, and walk into classrooms as if nothing's fallen apart. But everything has. Her breaking point wasn't a job loss or a medical bill. It was rent. Just months earlier, she was barely managing a small apartment. The walls were thin, but they were safe. Then the landlord raised the rent by 30%. No warning, no negotiation. Suddenly, survival meant a tent and a prayer. Maria's story isn't rare. It's routine. Across Arizona, the cost of a roof has become the price of surrender. In Pima County, a one-bedroom apartment runs about $1,450. That's more than half a full-time paycheck at minimum wage. These are the people making society function. The cashiers, the servers, the janitors, the caregivers, and they're being priced out of existence. One housing advocate in Glendale told me, voice trembling, "I've got people calling me, sobbing. An elderly couple just found out their rent's going up $600. They said, we'll be homeless by next month." In a city of 250,000 people, less than 10% of homes are affordable to working families. The rest? Locked behind impossible numbers. And in Mesa, the future is even darker. Foster kids age out at 18 with no safety net, just a duffel bag and a bus ticket. Within weeks, many end up on the street. The system doesn't catch them, it forgets them. The truth isn't complicated, it's cruel. Rent climbs, wages freeze, assistance programs buckle, families fall quietly, until they vanish from the grid entirely. This isn't about laziness or poor choices. It's about a game that changed the rules mid-play. A game where working harder no longer means getting ahead. It just delays the collapse. So when people ask, why don't they just get a job? Remember Maria. Remember her kids doing homework by flashlight. Because in Arizona, the question isn't who's next, it's who's left. In most places, summer is something to look forward to. In Arizona, it's a countdown to survival. When the sun rises over Phoenix, it doesn't rise gently, it scorches. By mid-morning, asphalt shimmers. Sidewalks burn bare skin. The temperature climbs to 110 degrees, and then keeps going. Climate change is making everything hotter. Then you add on top of that the fact that summers are always hot. We can expect a hotter than normal summer. For people with homes, it means higher AC bills. For the unhoused, it means something else entirely. A fight to stay alive. It feels like for a minute that you are going to die. There is no shade on a freeway median, no breeze in a Walmart parking lot, no air conditioning in a nylon tent pitched beside a drainage canal. Out here, shade is currency fought for, begged for, traded like gold. Water is salvation, not a comfort, but a need as vital as oxygen. And survival isn't a strategy, it's a 24-hour job. Every summer, hospitals see a spike in heat stroke cases. But what the charts don't show are the people who never make it that far. The ones who collapse behind abandoned buildings. The ones found in alleys, in cars, under bridges, are gone before help even has a chance. Flagstaff, with its higher elevation and thinner air, offers some relief. But not everyone can just leave. Buses cost money. Jobs, however unstable, are rooted in one city. Family, if there is any left, may be too far to reach. So they stay trapped in the valley, baking slowly beneath a sun that doesn't care who you are. It's not just cruel, it's invisible. These deaths don't get headlines. They aren't followed by candlelight vigils or moments of silence. They just disappear. Another body, another summer. And still, Arizona builds luxury pools on rooftops while people in the streets pray for a puddle. So the question lingers. In a state known for sunshine, how did light become lethal? How did nature itself become the executioner? And how many more will have to fall before we admit this heat is not weather? It's a weapon. And right now, it's aimed directly at the people with nowhere left to go. In downtown Phoenix, cheers echo from the Footprint Center. Inside, bright lights and roaring crowds celebrate victory. Just beyond the parking garages, in the alleys the cameras avoid, a different game plays out, one where the rules are cruel and survival costs everything. This is the shadow economy, not driven by money, but by desperation. Here, women trade their bodies for a warm car seat. Teenage girls, some as young as 16, exchange safety for shelter. And boys, overlooked and ashamed, are pulled into quiet transactions that leave lasting scars. Arizona didn't choose this. It didn't ask for it. But it became it. A state vulnerable not by nature, but by neglect. The I-10 corridor, stretching nearly 400 miles through the desert, has become a pipeline for predators, a silent route where traffickers blend in with truckers and victims vanish into the dust. From Tucson to Phoenix to the California border, these roads aren't just for travel, they're for hunting. In 2024, Arizona landed in the top 10 states for human trafficking cases. Not because evil grew stronger here, but because people grew more desperate. Shelter disappeared, protection vanished, and when the system looked away, opportunists moved in. The cruel truth is this: no one chooses to be prey. But when every shelter is full, when every bus ride is too expensive, when every helping hand turns away, sometimes the only thing left is a deal you'll never recover from. And so they disappear. Not in a blaze of headlines, not with sirens, but quietly, one by one. Their names don't trend. Their faces don't flash across news broadcasts. They simply stop being seen. This isn't a crime story. It's a story about absence. The absence of safety, of support, of someone saying, "You matter." So next time you walk past the girl on the corner with tired eyes, or the boy staring too long at the freeway. Ask yourself, what would you do if danger were your only shelter? If this story moved you, don't keep it to yourself like the video. Share it with others and help us shine a light where no one's looking. In places like Mesa and Chandler, where tree-lined streets once felt secure and parks overflowed with families, something has changed. It's not chaos. It's not a crime. It's something quieter and more dangerous. It's uncertainty. People pass each other on sidewalks and wonder, is that person lost or dangerous? Is that woman sleeping in the gazebo escaping abuse or just another addict? The lines between victim and threat have blurred so much that no one knows who to trust anymore, not even themselves. Emergency shelters are filled past capacity. Phone lines ring without answers. Caseworkers, when they exist, juggle impossible caseloads. In rural corners of the state, some walk miles just for a meal or a bed for the night. And when help does arrive, it's often too late or spread too thin to matter. To address the growing crisis, co-response teams have begun pairing police officers with mental health professionals. The goal? Offer compassion instead of cuffs. But the reality is harsh. Funding is scarce, staff are stretched, and the streets are changing faster than any team can keep up. In the meantime, neighborhoods begin to unravel at the seams. Not through explosions of violence, but through slow, steady erosion. The familiar becomes foreign, the safety becomes questionable, and the middle where trust once lived begins to vanish. When a society no longer knows who needs help or how to offer it, what happens next? That's the question Arizona is facing. And if we don't answer it soon, we may lose more than just trust. We may lose each other. Addiction doesn't always scream. In Arizona, it often whispers. It hides in silence in locked bathrooms, dim parking lots, and behind smiles that don't reach the eyes. It's not a spectacle, it's a slow unraveling. And for many, it starts with something as simple as a lost job, a bad diagnosis, or a night of unbearable loneliness. Fentanyl, it is fire. Like it is so dangerous. It's like the most horrid, wretched, pure terror. You can imagine, it feels like something slowly, like just pulling your life force out of you. And then you get tunnel vision, starts getting smaller and smaller, and around this tunnel, it's just darkness, right? And it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, closes, and you're dead. In Prescott, recovery centers reach just 15% of those who cry out for help. The rest are left waiting or worse, sinking. In Kingman, synthetic drugs are everywhere. Little plastic bags passed in gas station lots, down alleyways, through broken windows. No billboards are warning you, just powder and pills, and the lie that this time, it will help. In rural Graham County, the landscape stretches for miles. 1,500 square miles and only one counseling center. If you don't have a car or enough gas, you don't get help. Simple as that. And so, many stay isolated, trapped in pain with no exit in sight. This isn't a story about bad choices. It's a story about abandonment, about families watching their kids fade, not because they stopped caring, but because they don't know what else to do. About children going hungry while their parents work back-to-back shifts, hoping they're not getting that call tonight. But in the middle of that darkness, sometimes there's a light. In Flagstaff, Linda parked her car outside Buffalo Park and tried to forget the life she once had. The substance dulled the ache for a while, but escape never lasts. It wasn't until someone looked at her not with pity, but with belief that the spiral broke. Today, Linda is that person for others. She mentors, guides, and listens, not from comfort, but from experience. She's walked through the fire, and now she walks others out. Because addiction doesn't start with weakness. It starts with wounds. And healing doesn't begin with punishment. It begins with being seen. In a world quick to shame, the most powerful thing we can say is, "You're not broken. You're still here, and I believe you can come back." It doesn't start with a disaster. There's no explosion, no breaking news banner, just a child quietly missing school. In Avondale, 1 in 5 students no longer show up, not because they're lazy or defiant, but because they're living in cars, motels, or worse. They carry backpacks filled with uncertainty. They come to class tired, unfed, and afraid. And their teachers, already stretched thin, try to reach them with algebra when what they need is breakfast. This is how a system collapses, not all at once, but piece by piece. In Pinal County, 5,000 people live without access to even one public psychiatrist. That's not a statistic. That's an entire region full of silent suffering, parents battling depression, veterans reliving war, teenagers on the edge, all waiting for help that never arrives. Meanwhile, families huddle into one-room motels, calling microwave dinners family meals and praying next week's paycheck covers the bill. Grandparents ration pills to stretch rent. These are sacrifices no one sees, no headlines, no applause, just quiet desperation behind thin motel walls. And in the city of Surprise, case managers carry a caseload of 150 clients each. Their tools, glitchy websites, outdated databases, and digital forms that even tech-savvy users struggle to understand. For elderly residents with no phone, no internet, and no support, the system may as well not exist. It's not just broken, it's suffocating. A patch here, a quick fix there, but no one is addressing the root. No one is rebuilding what's already rotted. So people fall, not dramatically, not loudly, but slowly off the radar, beneath the noise. This is what it looks like when the safety net tears and no one picks up the thread. The only question left is chilling. How many more lives must quietly unravel before we finally dare to mend what's coming apart? A sprawling city of over 1.6 million people, just 1.8% of the entire budget is devoted to housing. That isn't a solution. It's barely a line item. And it shows. Policies meant to manage the Homelessness Crisis Act more like cleanup crews than lifelines. Encampments are cleared like trash. Tents are ripped down. People are told to move along. No destination, no alternative. Just a citation and a warning. You can't stay here. But where can they go? In Casa Grande, the local shelter has 200 beds. That's it. Hundreds more sleep under the open sky, wedged between drainage canals, behind gas stations, hidden in the brush. There is no fence between survival and exposure, just space and silence. And in towns like Peoria and Sierra Vista, where streets are calm and lawns stay pristine, the crisis feels far away, detached, invisible. To many, homelessness is still something that happens somewhere else. But it isn't. It's here, and it's spreading. This isn't just an urban tragedy, it's a statewide fracture. The man at the gas station is asking for spare change. The woman scrolling through housing applications at the public library? They aren't vagrants. They're neighbors folded into the same community, just on a different page. The issue isn't just tents on sidewalks. It's what those tents symbolize. Policies that dodge responsibility. Systems that respond with punishment, not pathways. A society that would rather hide its wounds than heal them. When laws exist only to displace, not restore, they stop being protection. They become abandoned. And that abandonment is contagious. It doesn't stay confined to the homeless. It spreads to families on the edge, to workers scraping by, to seniors one bill away from eviction. So ask yourself, when people disappear from your neighborhood, are they escaping poverty? Or are they being erased? Because when policy forgets people, it's not just a failure of government, it's a collapse of conscience. And if we keep looking away, that collapse won't stop at the streets. While Arizona's systems stall and budgets dry up, something quiet but powerful is stirring across the state. It doesn't make headlines, it doesn't trend online, but it's there, in church parking lots, dusty trails, and forgotten corners, where hope is learning how to survive on its own. Change isn't coming from podiums or policy, it's coming from people. Ordinary Arizonans who refuse to look away. In Sedona, where tourists come for healing and red rock sunsets, another kind of pilgrimage unfolds. Volunteers walk the same trails not with cameras, but with backpacks. Inside each pack, soap, socks, toothpaste, and a handwritten note that simply says, "You matter." They move quietly, handing out dignity one bag at a time. No applause, no spotlight, just kindness in motion. Down in Cottonwood, Sundays have taken on new meaning. Beneath the cottonwood trees at Riverfront Park, long tables stretch under the shade. The air smells of chili and cornbread. People come hungry, but they leave full in ways that can't be measured. Between bites, they share stories, laughter, and something rarer, belonging. One volunteer smiles and says, "God's been good to me. I just wanted to pass a little of that on." Farther east, in Safford, Mercy travels on 4 wheels. A mobile health van winds through back roads, bringing medicine to places the system forgot. Blood pressure checks, wound care, a simple bandage, small acts that mean survival. Out here, compassion has a steering wheel, and hope rides shotgun. In Mesa, recovery homes glow softly at night, run by those who've already walked through fire. They know addiction's darkness because they've lived it. No judgment, no pity, just understanding. Each bed offered isn't charity. It's a second chance handed from one survivor to another. And in Glendale, the public library has become more than books and Wi-Fi. It's a launch pad. Inside, the unhoused type resumes, apply for jobs, and print out small promises to themselves. I'm not done yet. Staff members don't just provide resources, they restore self-worth. Meanwhile, in Nogales, young artists are painting the city back to life. Murals bloom across boarded windows and broken walls, vivid blues, reds, and golds, reclaiming spaces the world stopped seeing. Their message is simple: we're still here. None of this is funded by million-dollar grants or government blueprints. It's powered by heart, proof that when systems forget, humanity remembers. Because real change rarely begins with speeches. It begins with a meal, a brushstroke, a handshake, a single voice whispering through the noise. You still matter. And that's how Arizona starts to heal. Quietly, stubbornly. One small act at a time. One small act at a time. Arizona's story isn't finished. It's still being written in back alleys, tent cities, and silent prayers. Maria, Jamal, Linda, they aren't statistics. They're proof that even in collapse, hope refuses to die. But hope alone isn't enough. The question now is, will we show up? Will we listen before the silence becomes permanent? Because here's the twist. This isn't just Arizona's future. It might be yours next. So if you believe every life deserves to be seen, like, comment, and subscribe to Street Stories. Because the only way to stop the fall is to start looking closer.